Okay, let's do this. Hey there, friends. Welcome back to the channel. This is Dominique from the Pixie Planner. So in today's video, I want to do just a little bit of casual chit chat with you. Well, maybe it'll be a lot since it's chit chat and I don't have anything outlined. So do expect to have a lot of rambling, but I feel like, you know, what I have to share could possibly be helpful for a lot of you out there. So I just wanted to kind of take that time today and go over what changes I'm going to be making in my budget and how I plan on tackling my my future unemployment. And so I'm now, with that being said, I am now officially unemployed. I learned yesterday that my company was going to have to close its doors. I am a physical therapist assistant. I work in a private outpatient facility. So with it being privately owned, they can't afford to keep all of us on. And so again, they made the decision to close the doors until further notice. So that means I am now amongst the majority of the population being unemployed. And in the medical profession, it's definitely a lot more challenging, I think, in some ways, because our hands are constantly on people. And, you know, we did what we could as far as the precautions for distance, hand washing, use of gloves, masks when needed, but when it comes down to it, there's just never a guarantee, and it's always better to be safe than sorry. And of course, a lot of our population patient care is amongst the 60 plus crowd, so that really put us in a hard situation. And my employers have been very, very kind through all of this, keeping us in the loop. And you know, I really am saddened that they had to make this decision, as hard as it was for them as well. But so with all of that being said, yesterday I decided to sit down and really take a good look at my finances. I looked back at my budget starting in January, and if you've been following me, you know that I love to try different methods, whether it be planning or budgeting, because not only am I trying to gather some input to share with you guys, but I am also just a very curious person when it comes to finances and productivity, and I just want to know about everything that's out there. So I had recently been using YNAB, You Need a Budget, and I had really, really been loving it. It was fantastic. But what I'm going to be talking about in this video is that I am going back to paper budgeting. And I actually have everything right here. So I had started off the year in my Erin Condren, and this is the Deluxe monthly planner. I moved out of it because I was in my A5 doing some of my budgeting and using YNAB. But I'm really streamlining things moving forward, especially since I'm not working and I'm going to be at home. I don't need to worry about having something portable as far as my budgeting method and my planner system. So, you know, that's something that I don't have to look at. But what I did yesterday is I opened up my Erin Condren, and first off, I started with, there is this worksheet from the Budget Mom. It was a free printable, and it's the bare bones budget worksheet. So, of course, when I found out that I'm now going to be unemployed, I was like, holy crap, I need to make some changes. So I wrote a list of our budget here. This is my budget specifically. My husband and I do our budgeting separately. There are some costs that I cover having to do with our home, and there's other costs that he covers. It's always worked out very well for us, so we're just going to continue with that. But I just grabbed a notepad and I jotted out all of my bills. that absolutely need to be paid on a monthly basis. So I have that as my fixed bills right there. Then my variable, which is usually your kind of cash envelopes, if you do that. So my variable, I usually have a lot of different categories, but I decided to just stick with the necessities again. So I have food, gas, household, and pets. I would also usually have like a beauty category or personal spending, where that's where I would, buy any of my hobby items, or if I wanted something for myself, whether it be, I don't know, like new skincare or something like that, I would go ahead and use my personal spending for that. But of course, now things are changing, and these are areas that I was saving towards just as kind of an extra bonus. And do I need it? No, I don't, especially not right now. So I cut those areas out, and I'm only sticking to the absolute necessities. I need to eat. I need to care for my animals. I need gas to drive my car. For household, I need to buy supplies, whether it be cleaning supplies, sanitizing, so need to keep up with that. So these are all things that are absolute necessities that I am going to continue with for my variable spending. So all of those extra areas for just kind of free spending are out the window now. And I'm okay with that, because honestly, I'm just at home. Like, I'm not tempted when I'm at the shops. Online shopping, though, I know is a big deal for a lot of us, but oddly enough, I'm not tempted to just go on a spending spree, because I just know the severity of the situation and what I could potentially get myself into if I'm not careful with my spending. So that right there is enough to kind of stop me from making those sporadic, planner purchases, or, anything that is, again, not a necessity. So after I wrote out our budget, I then went to the bare bones budget worksheet. And so I started to look at the costs that I was spending or paying, the bills that I was paying monthly that, again, were not necessities. So just to list them off here, Artful Agenda was one of them. It was a planner app that I was trying out and really enjoyed. But again, I don't need it. I have my paper planners. I have Google Calendar. I just don't need it. That was $3.99. Then we have my gym membership, which is Planet Fitness. They're closed, and they notified us that they would put the accounts on freeze. So $10 a month I'm saving. Then TubeBuddy, which I use frequently for YouTube, but it's more of to lessen the amount of time I am spending when prepping a video to upload. So with the tags and, assistance with titles, I don't need it. It's convenient. It's very convenient. I've really enjoyed it, but I am cutting that out because I can just take the extra time and do it myself temporarily. That's $9 a month. Then Audible. This was something that I was really struggling with, whether to keep or cut. And she does have here listed, you go ahead and you list the expense, the amount, whether you want to keep it, whether you want to cut it. So I just kind of put check marks by those things. Audible is something that I cut because I do have a good amount of books in my library that I have not yet read or listened to. So I'm going to work on that. I have plenty of books at home that I am going to get to. So for now, cutting it out. Disney Plus. I just can't. I can't. So it's $6.99 a month. I'm deciding to keep it. It brings me joy. It is helping me through my days sometimes. So Disney Plus, I'm keeping. Last two, I had a cloth and paper subscription that was a monthly subscription, $38 a month. Do I need it? Absolutely not. So that was no question. that's gone. And then YNAB, as I mentioned, was the budgeting app that I was testing out for a few months. It's $11.99 a month, and I cut that out. So right there, I totaled that all up. Right there, that saves me $88.75 a month, and every little bit counts. So these are things that I can do without for a while. You can always add things like that back on, and I think it's really important to take the time. And whether it's with this, if you haven't signed up for the Budget Moms newsletter, she will send out a lot of freebies in her emails. So this is where I got the bare bone budget worksheet. So I highly recommend that you do something like this and really put some thought into those expenses that you absolutely need or that improves your life somewhat, and the ones that are just frugal spending that pretty much are putting more stress on you at this point, or in the long run they could be. So after going through all of that budget, just kind of brain dumping, I brain dumped everything and I got it all squared away. So I looked at my savings accounts after that. And I have to say, this is where I'm very, very thankful and blessed that I do have an emergency fund that I started last year, because last year is when I started to take my budgeting seriously. And I am 38 and I had never budgeted before, never had a written budget or anything. So at the age of 37, that's when I first started. And let me just tell you, had I not gotten serious about it, wow, like I would be much more of a wreck right now, that's for sure. And I feel tremendously for the people out there that don't have these emergency funds, that didn't have the ability to build one up, or just hadn't gotten started soon enough. Now is definitely the time to start. Even through all of this, any little bit you can put away, start working on that emergency fund. I know Dave Ramsey says to start building $1,000 as your emergency fund. Start with every little penny you can spare and continue to build from there. It will grow. This storm is not going to last forever. So start now. Don't wait on it. That's really all I can say, because again, I'm really thankful that I did get started on doing that emergency fund last year. So with that, I am able to cover a month and a half worth of expenses. And on top of that, I did make a goal for myself this year to start saving up for a car so I could purchase a car outright with no payment in cash by the end of this year. And I have just over $2,500 in that account. So if need be, I will pull from my car fund, because yes, it's important to me, but paying my bills and feeling secure is more important. I don't want to be going back into debt. As I mentioned, I do not have any credit card debt. I am not going to be taking out any personal loans or, using any of my credit cards, because right now with that emergency fund and the money that I have, I'm okay for a month and a half, 2 months. And then luckily on top of it, my company is going to be paying us out our pay time off and sick time. So that gives me another month. So right now I'm feeling pretty comfortable. And I'm just getting my ducks in a row here. I definitely had the struggle at one point in my life, and I know that feeling, and I really feel for all of you out there that are going through this. My heart is with you, and I just really hope that you know that the opportunity is going to come for you to build that emergency fund, so that way something like this doesn't hit you as hard if something were to happen again. you can definitely be in that situation where you have the comfort and security knowing that. So this little hiccup that is happening with all of us can be a really great reminder of how important budgeting really is. And I know, I was there at one point. You feel restricted with a budget, but in reality, it gives you security and it gives you freedom. The security I'm able to feel right now is a wonderful thing. And had I not started this a year ago, that would be non-existent for me. But this is just again a good reminder for getting that budget going, getting that emergency fund going. And I just wanted to be able to share. Again, I don't want this to turn into, oh, look at me, I'm great, I'm fine. I just want to share where I was, where I am now, how good it makes me feel to have this control because I started my budgeting journey, and knowing that so many people, haven't started their journey yet. I just want this to be a push, which I'm sure it will be for a lot of people, but it just goes to show how important it really is within our lives. Let's show you. I'll show you kind of how I have my Erin Condren set up. So kind of looking at, after I totaled everything up, what I would be needing for the month to keep the house going, to keep ourselves fed. I looked at my emergency fund, my car fund, and kind of got a better idea of where I stand and how long I am able to reasonably, pay for all of these expenses. So I have April open here, and I got a little creative because I wanted to, of course, just bring a little cheeriness to my layout. So I have some Erin Condren stickers that I just plopped on here, and then I also went ahead and I put the blue stickers are my bills, and then the only income that I'm getting right now from my company will be Friday the 3rd. That will be my last check that I get, because it'll be the coverage for what I've worked the past couple weeks. So my monthly view is just going to stay as this. I'm not going to track my spending there, but I am going to be tracking it on the next 2-page spread, which is just after here. I went ahead and I wrote out my April 3rd paycheck, my income sources, my bills and expenses that I will be paying with that paycheck, and then the spending categories, which I mentioned were going to be the necessities, the food, gas, household, pets. And then I'm going to mark down what I have remaining, and whatever I have remaining is going to go towards my emergency fund. I'm going to continue building that up because I don't have credit card debt. By the way, if you do have credit card debt, I would absolutely stop all extra payments. Put that on hold. If you're in your budgeting journey and you're doing the extra payments, like a lot of people recommend, Dave Ramsey is definitely one of them, put that on hold right now. Put that money towards an emergency fund. Take that money. You need that right now. So don't worry about the doubling up on the payments. So after I total up my income, bills, and spending, whatever is remaining, again, is going to be going into my emergency fund. So on the next page, that's where I'm going to be tracking my expenses for this paycheck. And I never really have expenses that take up more than 1 page. So that's plenty for this one paycheck. And then the next 2-page spread, I will be doing, again, the pay period with the expense tracker over there. And going to the front of the month, because a lot of you probably know you have kind of this weird division between the monthly spread with this dashboard. So this is where I'm going to track sinking funds, whether I'm going to have to dip into my sinking funds or if I can keep them, moving along. And then where did my money go? This is the very first page of the month. I want to keep track of exactly what percentage I am dedicating to each category. This is something that the Budget Mom has in her workbook, and I really enjoy doing that. So as far as what I'm going to be doing going forward with my budgeting, this is it. I am going to just stick to paper, no more YNAB, and I'm just going to be really staying on top of, making sure I'm jotting down anything else that comes into mind, whether we want to keep it or, get rid of it. My husband can add to this sheet here. I'm actually probably going to give that to him and, have him think of anything that he could potentially get rid of. So that spiel, that's all my budgeting. And then when it comes to my planning, what I'm deciding to do is kind of flip things around. So I have a daily Dapperdesk Emily Ley planner here. This I've been loving recently since I've been home, because there's a lot of things that I am trying to keep my mind occupied with, like spring cleaning. And so when it comes to each day, I just want to be able to dump all of my thoughts out, all of those lists that I'm wanting to tackle for the different rooms that I'm working on. And this has just been so perfect because, with it being larger, I never really wanted to carry it around too much, but I absolutely love the quality and the simple layout of this planner. So I am going to be using this as my everyday planner, where I can just keep track of everything that I am trying to get done, wanting to get done during the day. Then when it comes to my on-the-go kind of finance wallet combo, you would have seen, if you saw my last video, that I recently got the compact Saffiano zip from Filofax. So I have this set up as my wallet. Now, all of my cards are in there with some cash. Now I have made a little bit of a change to this. I got some new dividers from Cloth and Paper, but there is no planning that is going in here. So what I still have my vision board for why I'm focusing on my finances right now. The schedule that I have here, the tab schedule, this is just going to be kind of like my Google Calendar just written down, because I do recall things better when I write down appointments or events, things like that. So this is all I have as far as planning goes. Then when it comes to the lists section, this is where I'm just going to keep a running list of household items that we need, grocery lists, anything that needs to be purchased. Then for projects, that is again going to be more geared towards household. So like right now I'm focusing on my spring cleaning. So I'm going to make some lists and what exactly I want to do for my whole spring cleaning routine. And then even if I need to purchase any cleaning supplies for that specific project, then finances pretty much, explains it right there. This is where on the go I am going to be writing down all of my spending, so that way I can then transfer it into my Erin Condren, which is holding everything. I am not going to be able to remember how much I spent on something, so I need somewhere to write it down. So it's going in here. Then the goals and ideas, that right now I just have some blank paper. Miscellaneous, this is where I'm just keeping my contacts, so any addresses and so forth. So that's what this is going to be, kind of my finance wallet on the go. And I think this is going to work out really well since I am going to be tracking my spending in here. I wanted something that could hold a pen, have those expense trackers on there, and my cards all in one place. So as far as my planning goes, it's going to be these two beauties, and that is it. I am putting everything else aside because right now I need simple. I'm sure you guys are feeling the same way. I don't need to be decorating my A5 planner. I don't need to be worrying about how things, look, because it makes me happy. Yes, it does make me happy, but right now I just don't need it. So I'm sorry if this was super rambly and chatty, but I hope you guys got a little bit of something out of it. I'm very happy that I was able to kind of share what I'm going through right now, because again, I feel like it's so important for us to really just keep communicating with one another, keep supporting one another. I know that being able to reach out to you guys and chat with you guys is something that I really look forward to. And I think it's important for us to know that we're not alone by hearing one another's situations or experiences, or being able just to lend an ear if someone needs to talk. I am certainly here for that. I love doing that. I'm a very good listener, and I pride myself on that because I enjoy it. I really enjoy it. So please leave me a comment down below of your current situation, what your plans are moving forward, and do you have an emergency fund as well that you are very thankful you started earlier? So I hope you guys enjoyed this rant. It was awesome to be able to sit down and just be casual with you. And I appreciate you all more than you will ever know. And I will see you again soon in my next video. Bye.